Hi there, and welcome back to our Items and Inventory series. This is Kryzarel, as usual, and today we are gonna finally implement our tooltips, and by that I mean the actual code, since we finished the UI for both of our tooltips in the last couple of episodes. So let's start this out by creating a new script that we are just going to call item tooltip. As we usually do, let's delete all of the Unity default stuff, since we won't be needing it. We need to reference our three texts: item name, item slot, and item stats. We can add our script to the tooltip straight away and drag and drop each text to its respective variable. Inside our script, let's make a public method that we'll call showTooltip, and it receives an equipable item as its input parameter. Let's also make a method called hideTooltip that's just going to hide this game object. In the showTooltip method, we want to enable the game object, but that's the last thing that we'll do, because first we need to set up the texts. So the item name text is an easy one. We just need to set the item's name. The item slot text is equally as easy. We just need to access the item's equipment type and convert it to a string. Now for the stats, it's not exactly hard, but it's a little bit more tedious because there's 8 possible different stats that an item can give us. First, we need to optimize the creation of our strings, because in C#, if you do stuff like this, you're actually creating a new copy of a string with the result of the concatenation, and if you do this a lot, we will be allocating tons of strings, and that can be quite bad for performance. To do that, we'll create a string builder object, and to access it, we need to add the system.text namespace. And now we can create a private string builder that we will just call SB, and it will be equal to a new string builder right from the start. This object allows us to join several different things together without incurring the penalty of allocating a new string every time we do it. Before we start using it, we need to reset it by setting its length to 0, and now we can start adding our stats by calling the append method. But since we want to do this for every one of our stats, and there's 8 of them, let's put this in a method to make our lives easier. But actually, we only want to do this if our stat is different than 0, and if our stat is positive, we want to add a plus sign, because it looks better, and we don't need to do this if it's negative, because it's already going to be there. Also, if this is not the first stat, we want to start writing this in the next line. So let's call this method a bunch of times and get the result into our text object. Because we also have percentage stat bonuses, let's add a special case for that. If the value is a percentage, we will multiply it by 100 and add the percentage signal after it. If it's not, we just do the same thing that we were doing previously. Now we need to set that variable to true whenever we call this method with percentage stat bonuses. And lastly, we need to set our stats text to the result of all of this stuff. We do that by calling the toString method on our string builder and assigning that to the correct text object. Now let's make our item slots show the tooltip when we put our mouse over them. We need to open the item slot script and add another interface. This time it's going to be the pointer enter handler and the pointer exit handler. To implement these, we need to have a reference to our tooltip, so let's add a variable for that. So here we are using the method findObjectOfType, and while I don't recommend that you use this method pretty much anywhere in your code, because it's quite inefficient, there's a few exceptions, and one of them is precisely the onValidate method. Since this only runs in the editor, then it's perfectly fine to use it here. It won't affect your game's performance in any way. The reason why this method is quite slow is because it's going to actually search your entire hierarchy until it finds an object of the type that we're looking for, and as you can see, for our current scene here, it already has a ton of game objects, and this scene isn't really that complex at all in relation to a full game. This is just the UI. So as you can imagine, searching this entire scene or something even bigger than this for an object of a certain type is going to be quite slow, and the bigger your scene gets, the slower it's going to be. So let's get back to our script. Now that we have the reference to our tooltip object, it's already quite obvious what we have to do. We just need to show tooltip and give it the item that's already attached to this item slot. But there's a small problem here. We made our tooltips only counting on equipable items, because those are really the only types of items that we have right now, while the item slots support any type of item. So let's just show the tooltip if the item that we have on our slot is an equipable item. If it isn't an equipable item, we just won't do anything, and we'll worry about handling other types of items when they actually exist. In the onPointerExit method, we just need to hide the tooltip. Now we can test it out and see if it works as expected. First of all, let's just select one of our item slots, and we can see here that the tooltip reference is correctly assigned. So let's hit play and hover on some items. Awesome, we have our stats correctly showing. The only thing that we still need to do is have the tooltip start hidden instead of starting with the default text values. Let's do that by simply selecting it in the scene hierarchy and disabling the game object. While we're at it, let's do the same for the stat tooltip. So this is all the time that I have for today, guys. I know this video is a little shorter than usual, but I hope you don't mind. And I hope to see you in the next episode, where we'll implement the stat tooltips. Goodbye!